We begin with a tense standoff between the US and Iran over the Strait of Hormuz that's paralysed economies around the world. Despite a fragile ceasefire, both sides have imposed rival blockades, choking energy supplies, infecting families from the Philippines to the US. Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi says the United States is waging a war of choice. He warns the economic pain for Washington too will grow, with Americans already paying higher gas prices. Tehran insists that its sovereignty over the strait must be recognised as one of the conditions for any peace deal. Negotiations with the US, though, remain in a deadlock. And the US President Donald Trump has refused to rule out a resumption of war. This now is a live look at maritime traffic in the Strait of Hormuz. The red dots there indicate oil tankers that are at a standstill. Before the war, the strait carried nearly a fifth of the world's oil and gas supplies, and up to 140 commercial ships and tankers would cross its shipping lanes each day. But only a fraction of vessels have crossed since. Let's go now live to Tohid Asadi, who joins us from Iran's port city of Bandar Abbas in the south. The site is not only one of Iran's largest commercial ports, but also the main command of the Revolutionary Guard Navy, which oversees maritime operations in the Strait of Hormuz. Tohid, tell us a bit more about the significance of where you are.
Well, as you mentioned, I'm in the southern coastal areas of Iran, and behind me, on my left, is the Persian Gulf. Also, behind me, you can see the Strait of Hormuz towards the Sea of Oman, actually. This is the situation here, and we know that behind me also there are Qeshm and Larak and Hormuz Islands, three important places geostrategically speaking that Iran is using when it comes to a new system, or what they call a new regime of management over the Strait of Hormuz, this geostrategically significant choke point, which is responsible for almost 1/5 of the global energy market, specifically the crude oil and gas transportation. And now Iranians are talking about this new authority and regime. After war started, they have imposed a sort of new system. They are saying that the strait is not closed, it's not open. What they're saying is that it's open to our friends, to neutral countries, but to our enemies, this is closed. This is what we are hearing from the Iranian side. Also, IRGC the other day talked about a further expanded scope of authority over the strait, and also they are putting emphasis that any transiting through the passage of the strait should be in coordination with the Iranian side, with IRGC in particular. And added to that is the idea of transit charges that Iran is talking about when it comes to ships and vessels and oil tankers planning to transit through the Strait of Hormuz. And last but not least, they are saying that no military ship is allowed to transit through the Strait of Hormuz. Just a little bit of picture if I want to show you. In this part, which is, I'm going to step aside so that Hamid can show, we can see some ships and vessels here. They are affiliated or belonging to actually Iranians, but far from that. This is a little bit foggy here, so I cannot show the deeper picture, unfortunately, but still we saw many ships and vessels being there. A local authority called it like a parking of ships and vessels due to this conditions. And we know that the new pathway that Iran is talking about, it's not like the previous one. It's quite close to Iranian actually islands, which I can refer to. Qeshm, 18 kilometers from where we are standing, Lark 35 kilometers, and Hormuz about 20 kilometers away from where I'm standing. And the new pathway determined by the Iranian side is actually, in a sense, indicative of the very fact that Iran is trying to increase its control. And of course, we have to bring it to the context in which there is a sort of diplomatic standoff between Iran and the United States. The Strait of Hormuz is said to be one of the conditions versus the situation when it comes to the U.S. blockade of Iranian ships and vessels. These are parts of the bigger picture that is further complicating the situation. But speaking of these negotiated settlement, which seems to be very intricate, we know that the two sides are poles apart, not only when it comes to the situation here at the Strait of Hormuz, but when it comes to other issues such as the nuclear dossier of the country's stockpile of highly enriched uranium, war reparations that Iran is looking for, Iran's regional relations, the ballistic missiles, and most importantly, now the security assurances that Tehran is looking for. They're saying that in case a settlement is planned to be reached at the end of the day, Iran must be given a certain assurance to make sure that this is not going to get into the trap of a vicious circle of war, a period of ceasefire and peace, and then another round of confrontation. And to that also, we have to add this cloud of mistrust when it comes to any rapprochement by Iran towards the United States.
Tohid Asadi joining us live from Bandar Abbas on the coast of Iran. Thank you.